is an expression of your love. What you say is an expression of your feelings. And if your heart is you, then you are what you say. So we look at the cultural practices. I said, what now makes up our heart? What forms all these things? The feelings. What are the things that form our feelings? Our love? Because a man, when you give birth to a baby, it's empty. It's not that they love something. How does a child who is growing begin to form his or her heart? How does a child that is growing begin to love something? Begin to desire something? My boy now is just going to 3. He already has some things that has been formed in his heart. When you give him something, you say, no, daddy. He will say, this is the one I want. Why? His heart has started forming gradually. He has started having desire, having feelings, having love, compassion. You know all these things which forms our heart. How do we get to that stage? If we said these things are the things that will form us eventually, going by what we said earlier, I said your heart is your world. Remember, I also said you are a lover. That is, you are what you love. Because love is an expression of your heart. So how do all these things get in there? That's why I said we have cultural practices. The cultural practices, we call them little G's. The cultural practices, they are rituals and worship we do every day. I've explained earlier, the rituals is what you do every day. If I wake up every day and my son sees me that when I wake up, I go to the bedroom, I used to wash my mouth, I dress up, I will go. One day, when he wakes up also, he will go that way. And probably dress up and say, Daddy, let's go. You say, where are we going? Because he knows each time when you dress up like that, you are going how? Because he has seen that as a ritual for me. And he has also seen that it's a worship, because nothing stops me from going to bedroom, take my bath, and go out. It is so that nothing has affected that schedule. It becomes a worship then. Once you respect and you regard that nothing can tamper with it, that's what you worship. What you do every time, that's the rituals that you perform. Can we go to the next slide, sir? So, I've been able to tell you that, give you an idea of what actually formed the heart and lead to that. If you look at the book of Genesis, and the Lord God formed man of the dust and ground and breathed into his nostril, we are looking at the heart. If you look at Isaiah 28, all this, I think we have seen all this. The original occupant of the heart, if you look at the book of Isaiah 28:16, he said, therefore thus says the Lord God, behold, I am the one who has laid a foundation in Zion, a stone and a tested stone, the precious cornerstone. What I'm trying to say all here, immediately I was looking at the cultural practices that forms our heart. I'm trying to say that the foundation of every heart, we must make sure that the cultural practices must be a godly one. That's what we're trying to say. Because if I go out every Friday night now, I go to club and all that, it becomes a ritual. And if nothing stops me from going to club every Friday, it becomes a worship. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the cultural practices that actually form who I am. It goes into my heart, and I begin to produce. When I'm talking, you see me that I'm using that language. When I'm planning, I plan it along. When I react along that line, because those cultural practices, the rituals and worship has made up my life. So what I'm saying about here, we are talking about the foundation. Where I said I did a foundation, Jesus is the foundation, the soul that they desire. What we are saying is that the foundation of our heart, you understand, the foundation of our heart should be God. If you have laid the foundation of your heart with God, that you allow the cultural practices. For example, now, I don't need to tell my children that when you get to school, they say, what is the work of your father? I'm sure they will tell them he's a pastor before they say all of that things I do. I don't need to teach them that one. I don't need to package them to tell them in the school that their dad is a reverend, because they know that is who I am, and they see me, that is what I do. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they've seen it as my rituals, and they have seen it as my worship. You understand what I'm trying to say? So he said the foundation that is laid is Christ. So that's why I said the original occupant of our heart should be Jesus. If we have made that our cultural practices to be that of God, try to make sure that above every other thing, it's not that I don't involve in other activities, but those that are close to me knows that this one take priority over every other thing. You understand? I do business, I do all other things. But everybody around me knows that my ministry will take priority over everything. In fact, the reason why I will go into business is so that my ministry will not die. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? So everybody that sees me knows that everything he's doing is to make sure that this ministry survives. You understand what I'm saying? So that is the foundation. And that's what I'm trying to encourage, that if we know that the cultural practice is what forms our heart, then we need to work to make sure that Jesus is what is the foundation, most especially the children. That's why we said Heartformation is actually targeted towards the youth, trying to find out how we can form their heart, even at this stage before they get. Some of the elderly ones, the adults, it might be very difficult. You know, I've been in a lot of seminars like this that like, I wish I knew this thing when I was very small. Because by now, almost everything about my life is formed. Praise the Lord. So where do I start reforming it now? Where I know where I am now. I'm already heading towards, so you understand what I'm saying? But for the children, they can actually so they can change. They will have a lot of things to change. What I'm saying here is that the cultural practices should be much of concentration on the foundation, which is Jesus. So I said the original occupant of our heart should be Jesus. If everything we are doing is based on the principle of Jesus, if everything we are doing is based on the discretion and the information that we have of God, then we will not have issues. 1 Corinthians 3:11-13 said, "For no one can lay another foundation other than which is laid, which is Jesus Christ." Do you understand? So the foundation of our heart should be Christ. We must ensure that the cultural practices, because that's the major thing that forms our heart. Because most of the time, the natural liturgies, that is is called the worldly activities, we have made them to be our cultural practices. They dominate our life so much that the things of God are just Sunday thing, or in case you go to Bible study on Tuesdays. So the cultural activities that dominate our lives have taken all other days, like 6 days in a week, 24/7. Mm-hmm. Those are the cultural activities. Your rituals and worship, they are worldly things. The natural liturgies, and now you now expect to have the result of the things of God. No, it is what you put in. It can only multiply. Input will give us the kind of product that will come. I'll give you an example. Fine, you want many mangoes. God said plant mango. He never said plant guava and get many mangoes. So if you will want a trailer load of mangoes, at least plant one seed of mango. So it is a product that goes in that will come out. Although when it's coming out, because of the creative energy, because of the power of God that can multiply things. After all, Jesus took 5 loaves and give thanks. And he comes to so many eggs. No. He only comes to so many fish and bread. Do you understand? So when God is doing his miracle, it has principles also. By the time Jesus gave thanks, he produces multitude of the same products.
That's right.
He did not give thanks. Somebody said, but he can do it. Yes, he can do it, but he doesn't do it that way. I agree with you that God is powerful. He can turn bread to egg, and he can turn fish to whatever, to meat, but it doesn't work that way. Because God is God of order. You can see some prayers we are praying now that it won't work. You understand? So you make sure you input the specimen of the product, then God can multiply it for you. So now, if you don't have these things in your heart, if Jesus is not the foundation, how do you now expect that man to speak Jesus, to act Jesus, or to produce Jesus eventually? Are you getting it now? Because what forms our heart, these are the cultural activities. So when a man makes the cultural activities to be the things of God, which is the foundation that we are talking about, then you can begin to know that either now or later. I said a slogan here last time. I said, if a man act is good, but his act, ACT, is crooked, watch it. Watch it. It's a matter of time. That good heart, it will change that crooked ways. Those are the armed robbers you find in the church eventually. Even while he's an armed robber, he has a good heart. But watch it now. If a man's heart is crooked, and he's a bishop now, is a matter of time. One day, the crooked heart of that man, he will make a shame of that bishop. The heart will supersede everything. It's a matter of time. So the foundation is actually what matters here. I said, if you have your heart, if your heart is built on circular activities, that's all I've explained, it will be revealed by fire, of course, and the fire will test the work eventually. Can we go to the last slide? I think I have those 15 minutes to run now. Okay, yeah, this one said, is Christ in your heart or your mind? This is also very, very important. I want us to check now. Because this is very common that we have around. I said, is Christ in your heart or in your mind? A lot of people, Jesus is just in their mind. What I mean is, they have knowledge about Jesus. They know a lot about God because, I told you the mind is the storehouse of the brain. So you can have Jesus in your mind. You know scriptures. You quote scriptures. You know all the story. If you haven't been to Jerusalem, you know every corner. What I don't know, you know. You understand? But it might just be that it remains in your mind. If Jesus is not in your heart, then no way. Christ needs your heart, not your mind. Because he knows that it is with your heart you will love me. It's not your mind. So it's actually not the knowledge that you know about Jesus. I'm not saying you don't have knowledge. When you have knowledge, it's good. Because zeal without knowledge is bad. But it's even worse when you have the knowledge and the heart is not there. Do you get what I'm saying now? So Christ actually needs our heart, not our mind. We know a lot about Jesus and his kingdom, but we are far from him in our heart. Somebody was giving me a testimony sometime. He said there was a guy that became born again, and the pastor, I think it happened in the school, the school fellowship and all that, and the pastor that converted the guy. So, and when a young man gives his life to Jesus, it will be like 100% the zeals we have in school in those days. So the pastor that he takes as a mentor in the school, who has been mentoring him, one day he just went to that pastor's house, student pastor of course, and he met the pastor inside with a lady. That guy was so disappointed, broken-hearted. In fact, he almost got mad. Because he was just like, upon him, he can't match what that guy was telling him. The man that has the power and the zeal to convince this cult guy to turn to Christ. Somebody that could speak eloquently about Jesus. To the point that he changed that man to follow Christ. And he now saw the guy fornicating. He can't match it. And the guy wants to run mad, like he was just crying like a baby. That he cannot imagine. That it is still possible for this man to know all these things and still be, because I don't know 1/3 of what he knows. But you know something? The new guy loved Christ. That other one just have Jesus in his mind, not in his heart. But the new guy does not know a lot, but he goes straight into his heart. That's the difference. So, but we are far from him in our heart. Your mind is just a storehouse of the Lord. I told you this one last week, that your mind is a storehouse of the brain. It is of no value for you or him until it is in your heart. It is of no value if Jesus is in your mind and your brain. You just know a lot of things, but it's not in your heart. Knowledge is of no value, I mean the knowledge of God, until it becomes a desire and affection. Because once it becomes a desire, affection, feelings, and love, yes, it's in the heart. That's the reflection of the heart. But when it cannot be expressed in love, desire, affection, feelings, and love, then it's just in your mind. So that's why I tell a lot of people, I say, well, I like the way he speaks and all that, but I wish that actually what he's saying is from the heart. You understand? Because except that as much as we know, it's in our heart. If we love him that much. There are a lot of people that when they hold the mic like this and they begin to talk about Jesus, people will be crying. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not contesting the fact that it's not coming from, a lot of them, it comes from the heart. But there are some people that even everything they are saying that is moving you. Because you know what the apostle said? He said, if they are preaching Jesus, either to their advantage or to disadvantage, most of the time that Jesus is being preached. Let me tell you one secret about Jesus. The gospel is so powerful that even when a pagan Preach the gospel, power of God will move.
It will move. That's right.
You don't believe it? So we don't. That's why we don't get moved by miracle in crusades.
That's right.
It's not the man that is doing it, it's the God he's talking about.
That's right. That's the name.
When the pagan use the name of Jesus, it's because he said in the name of Jesus. It's not the name of the person that is calling it. So they respect that name. So most times, but what God desires is that it flows from the heart. I said we do what we love and what we desire, not what we think. We have talked about that earlier. I've explained that enough. That our expression is actually what we love. Men are in churches because of the reasoning and thinking in their mind through information that Jesus can meet their need, and not because they are convinced in their heart. Do you get what I'm saying? Why we have crowd in churches is because somebody was able to talk to them and beat their imagination and reasoning that Jesus can give you what you want. Not because the word was able to convince them to love him. And that's why when we bring people to church, if the answer is not going to come sharp, the guy started drawing back. We didn't see you enjoy them. We have not been coming. The answer has not come. Because a lot of people, they are being sweet talk with information in their thinking that Jesus is a miracle worker. Fine, it is good. But that's not the entry point. He says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and right. That's where the love is. Then every other things, the miracles, they will come later. But we have a lot of people in church today because of the information that Jesus can meet their need, and they are not convinced in their heart that to love him. That is why their practices does not reflect the teachings, because the practice is from the heart, not from the mind. I'm differentiating what we say from what we do. When you begin to do it, probability that is a reflection of what you have in your heart. Because I said you are your heart. You are what you think. You are what you say. You understand? What you do is a product of your heart. So when you begin to see them in action, it shows that it's gotten to the heart. But when people begin to give information and they are reacting to that information, it is because they have not yet gotten that thing to their heart. So they might not stay for too long. Some might use months. Some have even used years. And after some time, just discover that they are missing one Sunday. They first start by going there every last Sunday. He said, where are you, sir? We used to go for one special program with our uncle. They are looking for miracle. And later it become two. They divide the two, first and last Sunday. They come to your own third and second. Then later they even go there. Because all the information they are getting is also going to their heart. All the information is just talking about their mind. Let me see if we have something as we round up right now. Wow. Excuse me.